press and I can hear it from here, how do I know you're being punchy? A, I see that there's air space every time you change your position when you're palming, and from 6 feet away, I can actually hear your hand make contact with the client. That's called punching, right? So I can see it and I can hear it. So that's why I tell you, don't do that, Tyler. Just quit it, okay? Slide to the next point. Release the pressure just enough to slide to the next. And from one palm press to the next, there should be no sound. And mostly when you're moving around on the mat, it shouldn't go bang, bang, thump, thump, slide, thump, bang, 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 thump. Right? It should literally sound like shuffling. Shuffling. Why? Because it's not ballistic, so there's no reason for an impact. And that report, thump, is a report, is from an impact. Impact implies ballistics, right? Now here we are. So I pick it up, I don't grab it. I just cup it in my palm. If you're not strong enough to be able to do this, okay, we'll do this a few times to sort of build up your strength a little bit, but then let it rest on your leg and relax your arm. So it is okay to condition yourself for the work you're doing, right? So if you notice that there are postures that you're trying to do that cause you personally to have a little strain while you're doing them, get the best posture you can to get into them, and then, you know, with a willing partner, right? Or ignorant, because they don't know what you're doing anyway. Okay? Then what you do is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just did 5 little curls just to kind of build this up a little bit, right? But then I don't want to get tired because we're not done yet. Just enough control that it doesn't flop over. Okay, the other hand, start from the outside first, okay? And so the fingers loop around to the arch side of the foot, okay? And then I'm not going to twist. Big mistake here that some people do, and you might have experienced this, Jim, because I know you learned this technique, okay, is that they twist the foot out here, okay? That's actually not what I'm going to do, okay? Now, first thing, I'll show you the wrong way so you can get a vision of something. Then I'll show you the right way, and you tell me if you can tell the difference. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, so understood. First thing I'm going to show you here is not the right way. It's the wrong way. But the wrong way is the way most people do it who aren't very advanced in their practice. Maybe they just learn from a video. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Okay. All right. Wrong way is this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Now, don't just look here. Look everywhere. Soft vision, right? Soft focus to get the idea of what's going on. Now reach around from the inside, because now I've got to catch the outside of the foot edge all the way over here, right? 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Simple enough. That was completely wrong. But might be acceptable. Client won't know any difference. Okay? Now watch the right way. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, look up here. 2, 3, 2, 1. Can you tell a difference?
Yeah.
Yes, Ajahn.
Okay? So if we were to go into sports medicine and say, what did I just do? I did a progressive traction and a 3-joint traction and decompression with an articulation on the ankle. 3-joint traction and decompression. Do you get this, Rick?
Yes, sir.
3-joint traction and decompression, but with a specific release on the ankle while I'm opening up the knee, while I'm opening up the pelvis. So in other words, is this technique about the foot?
Yes.
No.
The answer is no. It just so happens that the foot is the entryway to release everything up into the pelvis and to get a pelvic emphasis on the left side of her pelvis. One more time, don't look here at all. Can I do this?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Just giving an etch, that's all I'm doing. So you can see that. Okay, here we go. Don't look here at all. Only look at that edge where the t-shirt is. Okay, you ready? Here we go. You see the
Yeah.
Okay? Remember, the pelvis is a bat wing. It's winged like a butterfly. Okay? Two halves that articulate independently, or at least they should. At least they should. And when I rotate and torsion the pelvis, I'm asking the pelvis a question. How's it going? Hey, pelvis. What's up? It's called tensegrity. I'm putting a question into the overall structure of the pelvic, asking it, are you stable or not? How stable are you? Do you want to be more stable than I found you? Okay? And then the pelvis will respond. And there'll be a correction. The correction could actually be in the low back. The correction could be in the sacrum. The correction could be literally in the inguinal area here, in the way that the femur feeds into the pelvis. The correction could be in the knee, where there's chronic tension, obstruction, and poor circulation in the bursa of the knee. The correction could be in the ankle, any part of the ankle. Okay? Again, one more time. So you don't pull, you lean. Kind of lock your arms. Look, you can see how I put some tension on my arms. Hook on the highest point. Look how high I am on the foot. The edge of my hand is literally on her lower leg. And then see how there's the upper part of the arch, right? And then when I lean back, I let my elbows float back with me. That imparts the rotation. I rotate without turning. I rotate, I'll do it slow. I rotate without turning. So rotate the ankle is everything but rotating, twisting the ankle. I'm not twisting the ankle. I'm just leaning back. And because of the position and because of the leverage, see, as I go back, see how that lever, my elbow goes down,
Yes.
and that levers against the foot to raise the edge. So internally, that acts as a rotation. But in my mind, I'm just pulling straight back. And what makes the rotation is the posture. By the way, this is martial arts. This is how I can turn somebody around and upside down with two fingers by pulling or pushing without even trying to throw them. In the combat jiu-jitsu, which is not BJJ, in Atlanta, Georgia. So we did the field trip and we all went there to see the old man. Now see, he's like in his 80s at this point. He's Oyama Sensei, who inventor of Aikido. It's his oldest son, right? Who's 9th degree Aikido master, right? And he was touring the United States. That was probably the last tour, first tour, last tour. Anyway, so we went to see him and the whole school turned out. The rec center stadium packed to the max, standing room only, to watch this old Japanese man in traditional dress, in his gi, with his hakama and his obi, and which was creases in his jacket that looked like they were sharp enough that you could that if you randomly grabbed his jacket, you might have a bloody finger. The creases looked so sharp; they literally looked sharp. Okay. And pristine gi, long black pristine hakama. That's a pleated skirt that drapes the floor with his wide obi, traditional Aikido style, you know. And so he had sleeves to here. And so he goes for one of the demonstrations. First he did a little demonstration of all the fundamentals, right? He did the forms. He did randori. He did a little obi, which is a stick form, and so on. Then he went into self-defense. So at one point, he goes, who are the biggest men in here? Stand up. Wherever you are, who are the biggest men in here? Well, Georgia football team was there, probably the whole team. Okay? And so the whole football team stood up. He goes, okay, who are the biggest, baddest of you guys, of all of you? Who do you think are the biggest and baddest of you? I want 4 of you come out here right now. 5 of you. 5 of you. And so these college athletes, not pro, but football players, they're all over 6 foot. They're all over 200, 300 pounds. And they all kind of, come out there. And he goes, okay, it's going to be really simple. And I'm going to say the instructions twice to make sure that there's no unfair advantage, that you understand what I'm going to do. Here's the task. I want, and I'm not going to tell which one to do what. I want one of you to grab this arm. I want one of you to grab this arm. I want one of you to grab this leg any way that you can. I want one of you to grab this leg any way that you can. And I want the biggest of you to choke me. Grab me from the front. And everybody squeeze and hold and pull and choke me as hard as you can. No cheating. Like Grandpa. No cheating. As hard as you can. And all you have to do is still be holding on to me 10 seconds from when we say go. And if you can take me down to the floor, that's fair. But all you have to do is 10 seconds from now, still have your arm or your leg or my throat, right? And so he's like, tell somebody else, count to 10 and blow a whistle. And that's going to start the timer. Okay? So they count to 10, somebody blows the whistle, it starts the timer, and he goes like this, whoop, whoop, and they're rolling across the floor in 4 different directions and or backwards. They weren't able to hold on for 1 whole second. So he goes, okay, not fair. You didn't see it. You weren't prepared. Now you know I'm going to try and get loose. And they were embarrassed. Red face. He goes, okay, let's do it again. And now when they went to grab, it was like, with feeling. Because it's embarrassing. Because, in football, part of the art is to be able to grab someone and hang on to them. You may not know that, but I'm just telling you, that's part of the art of footballing. Okay? 2 seconds, second round. 1, 2, everybody's gone. 3 of them left the ground. Their feet left the ground. Where their feet at one point in the next motion were over their head. 3 of them. The 2 others went like this. And that was his demonstration. Okay? And he was a 78-year-old man, 120 pounds soaking wet, not including his heavyweight gi and heavyweight hakama, and his accoutrement, his clothing probably weighed 8 or 10 pounds, right? He weighed probably, he's like Pa Cruz size, little guy. I think he said he was 4'11". He weighed about, soaking wet, fit, maybe 120 pounds. The combined weight of the 5 footballers was over 1,000 pounds. Actually, it was way more than that, because a couple of them were over 250. Okay? A couple of them could have bench pressed him 10 times without breaking a sweat if they could have kept a hold of him. Right? They easily in the gym would bench press more. 120, just a bar with 2 bells is 145 pounds with 2 weights, right? 145 pounds. And you don't even want to do that in the gym. People make fun of you. If you're a football player and you got like a bar with 2 20-pound plates on the end, people are going to go like, what, are you not well today? Okay, so after this shindig, right, I was in the dressing room, in the changing room, in the back, and these boys, these footballers, were huddled up in the back of the dressing room having a powwow. Okay, mutter, 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 you know, a little clump of them in the back there. And so I went over there, and you know, I'm nosy, elevator story. So I got over there, and I kind of leaned into it. And then they noticed me, and I was like, hey, I said, I saw the demo, good job, guys.
Yeah.
I go, so what's up? And they went like this. And every single one of them had big black and blue bruises under their arms. Up in here.
Wow.
And in here. When he went like this, he pinched the trigger points under their arms at the same, like, it looked like Noi dancing.
Yes. Grace of beauty.
Actually, Noi's a really good dancer.
Yes.
Okay, traditional dancer. But it looked like that, except that bodies were flying. And afterwards, they were black and blue.
Wow.
Black and blue. Because he pinched the points, right? So that's the secret sauce. See, it's not just about the pull or the push. It's also, where is your finger? Because that is communicating to the brain. That's why I give you preciseness on where the points are. Because they actually are points of communication to the nervous system. And so if you know that and you work more precisely like that, you get a stronger effect. You get a more immediate effect. Does it make sense? Okay, let me have someone else here. Now after the pressure point story, everybody's like, oh, you go. Shoulder over the foot. Because then that's how I drop my weight in. All right? And so every single time I come in and just do this, and I don't make a big deal about it. There's no big whoop. I don't hold these points. I don't, you know, I might not even appear to be paying attention very much, but I'm actually putting on my weight. It's my falling weight. I'm strong because of the position and how I'm manipulating the center of gravity. That's what makes me strong. Okay? Not muscular strength. Okay? So anyway, and also there's a compounding effect that as I do each step and then come back and open this up again, and then I do the next step, and then I open this up again, and then I do the next step, that there's something happening. There's an accumulation of a kind of force and release that's happening because of this little thing that I'm doing. When in doubt, press it out. Why? Because it is very efficient and very effective, creating a cumulative response. And entrainment. That's a whole nother conversation. I don't care. It could be up against me or it can just have a very slight gap here. But then I get up. Here's how high I am on the ankle. Okay? So don't start down here. You know? It's pull the foot. I know. But the way you get on the foot is you slide off the shin. Boom. There we go. Now, remember those first points that I worked on the arch? Well, now these fingers are on those points. Right? In fact, I'm on 4 of the 5 right now without even thinking about it. I'm on 4 of the 5. And because I know that, when I'm working, I will actually put my fingers on the points to add another layer of emphasis. You don't have to do that. If you can just go here and here, you'll be in the right place. All right? And then it's lean back and let your elbows come down. That's what puts the torsion into the ankle. That's what does the 1, 2, 3 joint traction and decompression. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3, 2. Oh, it's so hard. 1. Change hands. Don't grab. You know, a lot of people are really sensitive around the ankles. you grab them sharply around the ankles, they'll jump, they'll twitch, they'll ow, they'll call you a name, right? So for that reason alone, don't do it. When you change hands, just go from one cup into a cup. And then correct so that the toes are pointing up to the ceiling. And then when you lean back, let your elbow on, let your elbow float back. And that's all the rotation you need. And it's super powerful. 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay? And now change hands again. So I want my outside hand free, right? So that I go right here and capture the toe. Right here. Look at my posture. Look at my position. Okay? And it's circle, and then it's down and back. Locked into the finger. Circle, down and back. 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 Okay? Now, if we're working in the tropics and no air condition and the feet are really sweaty and wet and so on, actually it's appropriate to have a little towel here. Okay? Or Luke, like, hand me one of the sashes there, the blue one, right here. And this is very common with Thai therapists. There you go. The shorter ones, right, that one. Okay, nice. What is this for? This goes like, sorry, this goes right here. Okay, and so normally in Thailand when I'm working, I have this over my shoulder. And so I'm just doing this, doing this, doing this. Now I notice as I'm working here that her feet are sweating and they're a little moist and they're a little wet, and I'm going to come to the toes. So what I do is I just take this, put it over her foot. See? And it doesn't slide. You understand? Right? It's so simple.
Noise regretting life's decision.
So, circle the toes and pull. All right? So already this is Taylor, right? Because already I'm using a technology that's other than just my hands. I'm using a thing. Now, I'm not going to tell my client that this is a loincloth and that I use it to tie my nads up when I get out of the shower. What's this called, Noi? What do you call it?
Salon.
Say it again.
Salon.
Salon. Okay. I'm not going to go into that with my client. They don't need to know that the special technique and the tool that I'm using is, if you look it up, it says loincloth. Which means, and what's a loincloth? What is a loin? It's not a, well, it kind of is a cut of meat, but it's not the one you're thinking about. It's your nads, okay? And so, but mostly people don't do that anymore. You know, traditionally, you got to way be out in the village anymore to see people with their stuff, with their goodies tied up with one of these, right?
Yeah.
But they still make them because they're good for everything. You can wear as a sash, you can wrap it around your head, you can, you know, carry your apples. It's really, you can carry your fruit in it. You can, you know, it's all purpose. But in therapy, in the summertime, most Thai therapists have something like this over their shoulder, okay, like this, over their shoulder, or right next to the mat. And anytime you're working, it feels a little slippery. You just pick this up, and that's how you do it. Okay. All right. So from there, what do I do?
Press it out.
Switch sides.
No,
Oh.
the other foot.
Other side. So it's
Just pick it up.
here.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Change hands without grabbing. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Change hands again. Now also, this is a transition step. It's not in the book. It's not on the chart. but it's something that I know that I do. Okay, so when I finish with the traction technique, see, I'm not calling it a foot, pull the foot, even though that's what the step is, right? But it's a 3-joint decompression and traction, ankle, knee, and pelvis, okay, or hip, right? Then what I do is I give a little rock into the palm, like this. It's just a little flex. And that's a version of what we call make nice. So apparently the Northerners are so offensive that they're constantly trying to make nice to make up for it. Right? No, they're always apologizing. You know, katalk. They're always apologizing. So this is actually, what I'm doing is the opposite of the traction. I'm releasing the tension. I put tension in it when I pull, even though it's a decompression angle. But then I want to decompress the decompression, and the way you do that is with a little rocking. This is called a transition step or transition element. Again, you're free to do this anywhere, everywhere, anytime, all the time, between one step and another. When in doubt, press it out, but when you're not pressing, you can be rocking. That's Northern style. That's Lanna style characteristics. Okay? So then I did my 3 rotations. Okay? I get to my toes, either with or without, and circle and pull. And again, it's not circle and jerk. It's circle and make long, circle and make long. It does not matter if it makes a pop or a noise or a sound at all. Does not matter. It's about decompression. That's all that's important. Okay? And then a little rock, drop it down, and what? Press it out again. Press it out again. Now, turn the legs in so the feet are on top of the heels. I don't change my position, right? So now we're at circle. Press. Right? So I come back on top. So this line in the base of my hand cuts across this line, the base of the toes. That tells me where my hand goes. This line on my hand, whoop, see it right there, crosses this line on the foot, and that tells me if the feet are straight up. See, I can't see the heel. If you can see the heel, if it's turned out, you're not there. Don't do it. You have to turn this in and straighten the legs so you cannot see the heel, because on the toes there, not on this part of the toes, remember I said it's the base of the toes, okay? And then I rock forward and just lean into it until either the toes hit the floor or the knees come off the mat. Soft, hard, soft. Push up and fold up, and then curl the toes, and then this part of my heel pushes into this part of the ball of the foot. So, but the key is to engage the big toe with your index finger. Big toe with the index finger. Why? Because I'm going to fold that big toe over as far as it'll go before I touch it with the base of my hand. Because I'm engaging the toes before I flex the ankle. And then to keep it from being squirrely, wobbly, I keep my hands against my legs. See how it's stable now? So I curl those toes hard, as far as they'll go first, and then I push in with my body. Soft, hard, and soft. And then at the end of soft, I do this. Watch. End of soft. Loop. Loop. And press it out.
If somebody has limited flexion.
Don't do it.
What?
Or do it because they have limited flexing.
Like, yeah.
Okay, you're up. Get out of here.
So,
Between the step, we do this, right? As I already said, I already answered that question, right? Okay? And then cut, just gather up and square up. Start high. 1, 2, 3. And the way I keep it from rolling is keeping my inside of my thumb up against my outside of my leg. Right? 3. and 2. Now, how far down do I go no matter what? No matter what, I go to the floor if I can. That's my visualization every time, okay? But, especially on 3, when I start to press on 3, I'm actually focusing on the knees. When I see the knees break, that's what we call it, when the knees break, which is when they come up off the mat, that's the bottom, okay? Some people, like Noi, for example, when I did 3, her feet went all the way to the floor, okay? But on some people, their knees will pop up on 2, okay? Well, then that's the bottom, okay? If I come to 3 and they pop up, that's the bottom. I don't go any further. I pretend that I just took them all the way to the mat, okay? And then, okay, da-da-da, one more time. Again, if they wander away, don't chase. Bring them back. Center again. Now, toes. Toes. Crunch. But mostly focusing on the big toe. Okay? So now I'm going to turn in and gaze that big toe as far as I can. And then the heel of my hand comes on the ball of the foot. And then I rock forward and press. 1, 2, 3, press back. See, in some people there's actually a little spasm reflex, a neural reflex. At the end of 3, when you let go, the toes don't go back. So you actually have to brush the toes back.
Always find joy in the smallest of things. That is what we found in you. Oh, 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 you are joy. Never give up when the going gets rough. Hope is everything you need. Oh, 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 you are hope. Oh, 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 you are hope. And don't forget you're not alone. The Holy Spirit wants to guide you on. The journey, child, will never end once your heart's been marked by a love for Him.